Hey girls, gays and days, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very bad build for you guys. Um, Not my proudest moment, to be completely honest, but I was on a photo shoot with my friend Marchesa the other day, and well, not the other day, ages ago, but we were in Chelsea, and then afterwards we went for a little walk around a graveyard, and we found this grave of this woman called Marchesa Luisa Casati, who is actually the inspiration for the brand Marchesa. And then I went and I read about her life, and I was really fucking inspired. She was kind of like really fucking cool. I just fired. I hope you can't hear that in the recording, whatever. But yeah, she was really fucking cool, and I was really inspired. So I kind of did this like Italian villa vibe. Well, that's what I wanted to do, but it got really bad. And this video is just cursed, to be honest. I lost the first part of the recording and the last part of the recording where I did all the garden and stuff. So that kind of fucking sucks. But yeah, basically, I'm just gonna like tell you a little bit about life because she was really like quite inspiring. So yeah, I'm gonna start with a little quote by this man Quentin Crisp. Um, Quite suddenly and simply by chance, I once met a bizarre lady while taking tea with some friends in London. She arrived wearing black velvet from head to foot, her mouth painted blood red, and carrying a very tall umbrella with a decorated handle. And you must understand this ensemble was being worn in the middle of the day. The picturesque ruin of a woman was very tall and thin, and gave the impression of formidable strength. It was then I was introduced to the Marchesa Luisa Casati for the first and last time. She had made her entrance into that room looking wonderful and saying very little. She wasn't beautiful, she was spectacular. Here was a woman possessing a presence one would never forget. Like, sis really snapped, right? And oh my god, she just gets more iconic, to be honest. So basically, she was born on the 23rd of January 1881, so Miss Thing is an Aquarius, and she was born to Count Alberto Aman and his wife Lucia Bresci. Now, both of her parents actually died within 2 years of each other, her mother when she was 13 and her father when she was 15. This actually made her and her sister, reportedly, the wealthiest women in Italy. Like, come on, female empowerment, women supporting women, we love, we stand, two sisters, so rich, so young. Now, I think because she was so young, Casati got to be known for enjoying her wealth. She hosted the Ballet Russe, and she was often seen walking her twin jeweled collared cheetahs, and she wore live snakes as jewelry. Like, Rihanna could never. Well, to be honest, Rihanna could. I'd love to see Rihanna like in like Louisa Casati drag. That would be so iconic. Her boldness and comfort in shocking people added to undeniable appeal, enamoring various cult artists of the time, such as author and filmmaker Jean Cocteau, the dandy boy Robert de Montesquieu, the photographer Cecil Beaton, and she had a long-term love affair with the author Gabriele D'Annunzio, who said that his character Isabella Ingarami from the novel Maybe Yes, Maybe No in 1910 was actually based on Louisa Casati. Like, sis, come on, work, we love, we snap. Now, this wouldn't be the only time she would leave such an impression on people. She also inspired the character La Cassinelle, who went on to appear in two novels by Michel Georges Michel, Dans la Fête de Venise and Nouvelle Riviera. Now, around the time of Maybe Yes, Maybe No in 1910, Casati bought the Palazzo Venier di Leone on the Grand Canal in Venice, a building that Peggy Guggenheim, of the Guggenheims, would later own. Like, and when Casati owned the palazzo, her parties became that of legend. She started a collection of exotic animals, including the cheetahs and snakes previously mentioned, but also mechanical birds. In 1910, this was creating the future, like mechanical birds, a boa constrictor. Ew, that was so gross. A boa constrictor and a pride of white peacocks that she kept in the shade of her cypress trees. Now, one night, she even came down to the trees and plucked the peacocks for a dress, using a splash of chicken's blood as her only accessory. The drama. The drama. Yeah. So she became a patron to fashion designers such as Poy and Fortuny, being one of the first to wear the pleated Delphos dress, a dress designed to be worn without underwear. Like, she really started that trend in 1910. Now, it was here in Venice, a place where people lost the area. area, what the fuck, lost to era or to opium, went from salon to ball to party, where Casati began to learn she wanted to commission her own immortality. She paid for and posed as the subject of numerous portraits by artists such as Giovanni Boldini, Paolo Trebetsky, Adolphe de Meyer, Romain Brooks, Kees van Dongen, Man Ray, sorry, oh my god, Marionetti, Fortunato Dipa, and Umberto Boccioni. Fuck, that was a lot. She got her wish, with many of these works going on to inspire people like Jack Kerouac and Robert Fulford, who both saw Augustus John's portrait of her in the Gallery of Ontario. When she moved on from this location, she moved to the Villa Saint Michel in Capri, which is kind of what this build is based on, but like not really. With her unwilling host Axel Menth, here she opened her doors to a plethora of artists and exiled gay men and lesbians. Like, we stand an ally. Sisters throwing parties for the culture. She was throwing parties for the queers. Miss Thing was hosting them. She was giving them safe spaces to live when they've been exiled from the communities. Like, madness. Also, quick thing. I actually really like this kitchen. At the moment, it doesn't look too good, but I really do like the kitchen. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Alive. The kitchen's pretty lit, to be honest. I really spent so fucking long trying to get that fucking antique coffee set to get on that counter. Eventually did it though. I really like this idea of like a walk through, like casual dining area between the kitchen and the formal dining room. Not too sure about that rug, to be honest. I hope I change it. I don't think I do though. Also, the window placements in this house, I could not work out. Like from the front, it looks okay, but from the back and the sides, no. I really did not snap, like at all. And the color scheme in this dining room is a bit iffy. Just you, you can tell. I can't do big builds. Like I really can't. I just find it so hard to like fill the space, and like it's not very functional to have a big house. Like you just have so much empty stuff, and then I don't know. When I do the gym in a bit, you'll see it's so dire. But yeah, I'm just doing this because I've got to have like consistent uploads. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not like too bothered. I also didn't include screenshots because I just didn't want to go like look at the house anymore. It was awful. Like it took me like 3 hours to make this, which is a lot. Well, it's not a lot, but it's a lot for me, seeing as I have no attention span whatsoever. I liked what I did with these urns. I just wish, because I only have base game and get famous. I wish there was some other kind of like plant I could have put in there, and I didn't want to use like an outdoor plant, which actually, in retrospect, would not have mattered at all. So yeah, the floor plan as well. Like I hate these symmetrical houses because I don't really know what to do with the floor plan, how to make it interesting, and it was just so hard to fit. Like when I do that bathroom there, oh my god, it's so bad. Like, and that's the only bathroom in the house apart from the bathroom in Luisa Casati's wing of the house. I did like this black and white living room though. I wasn't too sure about doing this with the rugs, but looking back on it now, I think I'm watching it in OBS. It doesn't look too bad. Um, yeah, I really, really like that Caribbean update for the wallpaper. It's so stunning, and the art actually, it's really good. Um, and I did like putting all the black and white paintings from Get Famous up, but then I had to resize one because of the windows later on. You'll see, it looks so bad. Oh, and this study, like, I didn't know what to do. God, this house, it's so bad. I don't really know what else to do. I think I'm going to play Lara Croft tomorrow. Laura Bingcroft. Um, yeah, because I find it fun, and I've had the original first four on emulator on my Mac, so that might be fun to play. I wonder how many times I'm going to sing Laura Bingcroft in that video because my mind's just everywhere at the moment. But yeah, how iconic is Luisa Casati? Like, her life seems absolutely crazy. I actually can't. Polyamorous queen, to be honest. And all of her love affairs, so sordid. Say you got a girl. Honestly, SZA would have loved Luisa Casati. I think everyone would have loved Luisa Casati. She was so stunning. She actually looks a bit like Sophie. She would have loved Sophie, to be honest. Sophie would have loved her. Um, I just really like her. She was really cool, and her grave was really sad. Like, she died with like no money in her account, absolutely nothing. She was poor. She was flogging all of her stuff. She was walking around with like oil for like grease and stuff as eyeliner in her later years of life. And then they spelt her name wrong in the grave. They spelt it with an O when it was just supposed to be Luisa. Really, 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 really sad, to be honest. Let me actually just find this. Um, God, it was just so sad seeing her there because her grave was all ruined, and it was so like downtrodden for someone who was literally the wealthiest woman in Italy at one point, and then became, I don't know. It's sad. People like this, like Billie Holiday as well, like had such an amazing life, and then because society wasn't ready for them or whatever, they just become here. So once fabulously wealthy and a member of all the most elite European social and artistic circles, the Marchesa Luisa Casati lived in London after the war in relative poverty, moving from one rented flat to another and only just keeping one step ahead of her creditors. Her belongings once filled mansions and townhouses across the continent, but were now reduced to a tattered collection of frocks and fripperies, a stuffed lion's head, a broken cuckoo clock, a fragment of finger, supposedly a relic of St. Peter, amongst other worthless junk. She dressed only in black. Someone once described her late London outfits as resembling the plumage of a shabby raven. She rummaged in the bins outside the Chelsea Palace Music Hall and came away with scraps of monkey fur, fabric, and feathers to chart up her outre costumes. Because she could no longer afford coal, she ringed her eyes with boot polish. Towards the end of her life, all her old friends were dead, but she stayed in touch with them through seances conducted in her flat. Queen. In time, she came to believe she had powers of telepathy and stopped contacting even her living friends, preferring to rely on thought transference to communicate. Like, that is literally me. Like, I had that dream that I spoke about in my video yesterday. Not that anyone's watching this or watched that one, but I feel like I can communicate telepathically with my gorgeous lesbian lover, so I don't know. When she died of a stroke in 1957, Harrods handled the funeral arrangements, laying her out in their chapel before the interment at Brompton Cemetery. Her funeral finery consisted of her best black dress, a leopard skin coat that had seen better days, and a new pair of false eyelashes. An old friend for former days, a stuffed pet Pekingese, joined her in the coffin. The day of the funeral was unseasonably cold, and there were few mourners. Her memorial is modest for a woman who once amassed debts amounting to millions of dollars, and her name is misspelled Louisa with an O, as though she were English. Like, what? What? So, like, English people really are fucking annoying. Oh my god, this is a really cool quote, by the way. According to one of her biographers, for a summer of drug abuse on the island of Capri, she packed a wardrobe of black morticia gowns, dyed her hair green, and paraded through the village streets with a crystal ball, followed by a retainer in gold body paint. Ugh, like, the gays are quaking. The gays could never, like, she is the pop queen. Like, your pop queens can't, to be honest. They really can't. She's such an inspiration, like, to people like John Galliano and Alexander McQueen. Ugh, I really did a dirty with this bedroom as well. Like, someone buy me more expansion packs because it's so annoying only having base game and Get Famous. I really hate the like rich looking stuff from Get Famous. The mid century modern stuff is much more my vibe, but you know, I don't think. Well, Marchesa would have loved mid century modern. Actually, who knows? Oh my god, this bathroom is so bad. I'm so talentless. I really am. Like, ugh, ew, ew. I'm giving myself this bathroom. I literally just put a bath, a toilet, and a sink. I gave the fuck up. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the story more than the build. To be honest, I really do love it. Oh, this is when I tap out. Okay. Well, subscribe if you want, but I don't expect you to. Bye.